I'd like to welcome you to the United States Army Medical Department Museum here at Fort Sam Houston. As you walk into our lobby, you have to wonder, what is this place? What is it about, and what does it mean? And the mosaic right here really gives you a large part of the meaning of who we are and what we do. You see, the United States Army Medical Department, although it was founded during the American Revolution, it was back then called the Army Hospital, not a building, but an actual department. And again, in the War of 1812, we were activated, but it wasn't until 1818 that the medical department became a permanent part of the Army. And when it did, we began to develop a series of symbols that would eventually, by the time of the Civil War, become a very well-known crest of the AMEDD Regiment, the Army Medical Department Regiment. This mosaic is the centerpiece of our hallway because it is the centerpiece of the ideals to which we were founded. People ask all the time, you know, when we think of the Army, we tend to think of the eagle, not a rooster. The rooster goes back in medicine many, many, many centuries earlier than even the founding of the United States. The Greek god Asclepius, who was the god of healing, the healing arts, and of doctors, actually is always pictured in old texts going back really many centuries as having roosters around him. Part of this goes to a story from the time of Socrates, where he asked one of his followers to pay Asclepius a rooster that he owed him. But the rooster has other symbols as well. If you'll notice, he's looking one way, and yet he's going the opposite direction. He's moving forward while looking back. Think of it this way: like all medical professionals, he's looking at the past, the history of the patient, the history of treatment, the history of how we've always done things, and yet always researching, always looking to the future to do things better. He's moving ahead by observing the past. Below the rooster, you'll see the blue and white. It looks like a cord. It's called a torse. And because this is a coat of arms, the torse has two colors, blue and white, or blue and silver. These colors represent the original colors of the United States Army uniform at the time that the medical department was founded. Below that, you see the very familiar red, white, and blue, the stripes and the stars of our American flag. If you count the stars, you'll notice it's the same number of states, not as from the American Revolution, but from the time of 1818 when we were founded. And just to the right of that, you'll see a green snake wrapped around a walking stick or a staff. Doctors at the time of Asclepius, going all the way back in history, would have carried a staff when visiting patients. It was something all travelers would have had. But why a snake? To the ancients, the snake was self-healing. It gave the hope of healing. Think of it this way: a snake sheds its skin. It renews itself. It becomes new again. And this is a great symbol for the healing power of medicine and medical arts, this ability to heal. So the doctor carries a staff. The snake is a symbol of the healing. Why is the snake green? It could be any color or any kind of snake, and the green color actually goes back to an Army issue. Green was the color given to the medical department back in the 19th century. So on the uniform of a medical professional in the Army in the 19th century, the color of the trim would have been green. The snake represents that. Now, down at the bottom, if you didn't catch what the rooster's doing, looking back to move ahead, we're going to put it in Latin: experientia et progressus, experience and progress. We're always looking back at our experience, back at the developments of the past, to understand where we are so that we can move ahead, so that we can progress and move forward for the good of the patients, in our case for the good of the Army, and for the good of all the citizens of the United States. I hope you'll come and visit and see the mosaic for yourself.